Good afternoon. Welcome to the city of West Miami. Today is Thursday, December 11, 2014, at 55 actually. This is the special commission meeting for December 11, 2014. For the Pledge of Allegiance, please rise. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, roll call. Commissioner Luciano Suarez, he's present. He's coming back shortly. Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez. Present. Commissioner Candida Blanca.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Juan Blanes is excused. Mayor Eduardo Mujina.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Can you read item number 3A, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 3A, report by the Office of the City Manager and discussion in reference to city's life insurance group policy by City Manager and Mayor and City Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And instead of reading from a report, I'll try to recap what has occurred as brief and as best and as accurate as I can. And if I make a mistake, please somebody stop me along the way. We have been dealing with the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust actually for a little bit over a year since we gave them our group health, prescription, dental, vision, and life coverage for all eligible employees as mandated by Section 2.6 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of West Miami. We've had an excellent working relationship with the Florida League of Cities over the years and the FMIT, and the plan was renewed back in August 2014, right before the budget process came to the conclusion when Aaron Carper was here, representing to the city the changes that we were going to experience as a result of the increases in the industry overall. Little did he know, or little did the FMIT know at the time, that they would find it difficult to ensure the life insurance component of the program at the levels of coverage that were in place prior to the renewal that went to a formal approval by the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami. Subsequent to that renewal, which took place here at a commission meeting, the league advised us that they were finding difficulties in getting us, they didn't know, first of all, that they were not going to be able to renew our levels of coverage at the time. Subsequent to the renewal process, I got an email from Aaron Carper's office telling us that they were still waiting for some quotes, that they were having difficulty insuring us at the levels of coverage that the city previously had. That being said, Aaron kept us in the loop as to what was occurring, and he at one point advised us that we had gap coverage in place, and perhaps a good idea would be to go out to the market and see if we found something competitive, something that would cover the city at the levels of coverage, because they were finding difficulties along the way to get us insured, because they represent a group which is comprised of many municipal partners. That being said, we reached out to Mr. Bousset, who had assisted the city in the past during a time where the city had a situation involving some employees that were left out of the insurance program, and we reached out to Mr. Bousset, who has a long-standing relationship with the city, and we asked him to go out and price some programs for us. Along those efforts, we continued to work with the FMIT and with Aaron, and we've done so on almost a daily basis. Aaron has been briefing us as to what he's able to do. But apparently it's become very difficult to insure all the classes with the levels of coverages that we offered prior to the September 30th expiration date under a policy held by AIG. Am I correct so far, sir?
You are.
Okay. That being said, Aaron went back and he said, you know, I'm having a difficult time, but I have Standard is willing to insure you. However, we've got a couple of issues that we need to deal with. And that is an age reduction issue for some of the people that are insured. And we have a conditions and terms of employment for one of the positions because of the contractual arrangement or agreement between the city and that one position. So in the meantime, Mr. Bousset went to the market and I guess he surveyed several companies because he sent us several proposals. And you have before you a proposal now as well from another insurance agent. In the meantime, we were contacted by Mr. Amor, who is also a reputable insurance agent in the industry. And he's here today, and obviously I would like to recognize those that are here today. We have not received the formal proposal, although he advises me that he can quote our insurance at a later time. Now, we have a situation because we have a policy that expired. We have an alleged gap coverage pursuant to the execution of a joint partnership agreement, if I am not mistaken, that is effective until January 15th, 2015. Mayor, and again, I would like to invite Aaron, they are our carriers, and I would like to maybe invite Aaron to go to the podium and clarify something that I may have misstated or misspoke. This is obviously very difficult because I want to say that these two individuals are actually, these agents have all worked diligently on a daily basis for the last three months to try to get something to bring to us that of value so that the city can move on and put this matter to rest and ensure our classes under 2.6 adequately at the levels of coverage that we were in the past. So that's where we're at today. There's a couple of proposals on the table, and I would be more than happy to entertain any questions or interject any recommendations whenever the time comes.
Aaron, welcome back.
Mr. Mayor, good to see you again. Members of council, Madam Manager, you were spot on with everything that you had said on that. I would make one small correction in that the GAP agreement would be till the end of this year, till the end of this calendar year.
December 30th.
December 30th or December 31st. And that, I do believe in some of the correspondence that we had, I do not have that in front of me, but
I believe your email stated January 15th, 2015, which is what we have represented to the other agents that are here as well.
Okay. Which, if that's what has been communicated to these other folks, then we can honor that as well. That's fine.
Mr. Mayor, I am being corrected by the city attorney, and I'd like to, for the record, also advise you that initially in one of your emails, Aaron, dated back to October, there's a correspondence that said we had gap coverage in effect until such time the issue was resolved. And I have that email, and that's the one that I communicated back to you, and so.
Whatever, at the end of the day, and I'll just kind of sum a lot of this up, being the Florida League of Cities, I'm here to, and and we're here to help in any way that we can in this process. And if, if a city of ours is in a bind until January 15th, then, our job is to be there for you and help you until January 15th. It would be probably easiest, professionally, it would probably be easiest to start a policy on the first of the month of a new calendar year. It would be possibly a recommendation to do that, but if the 15th is what ultimately has been communicated, then, we will honor anything that we need to. With respect to two items that you had mentioned, I'll just kind of sum those up. That age reduction schedule, as I had mentioned last week, the whole purpose of making these adjustments to our life insurance policy at the FMIT was to not only help our members save more money, but also, get our life insurance program kind of up to speed with what other group carriers in the market were doing. And kind of a consistent language, per se, all across the board to a number of different carriers. One of those is an age reduction schedule. The standard insurance company, Florida League of Cities, would not do anything in any way, shape, or form that would be outside of guidelines of what we've been communicated to by our consultants and our experts at the FLC and at, our relationship with the standard. And that age reduction schedule is something that we have found to be consistent all across the board. And thus is a part of our program accordingly. Yes, ma'am?
Mr. Mayor, and I think also for the record, we should report that based on the last bill that we got from the FMIT, the levels of coverage for the commissioners were in place as initially enrolled. There was one discrepancy in the enrollment of the Office of the City Attorney. He, basically, that position was underinsured based on the classes that we have defined, and these classes have been in existence here for years. This is not something new. The levels of coverage that were in effect as of September 30th were in effect 20 years ago. So I want to say that we didn't come up with increasing anybody's insurance value. This has been in effect forever and ever. When you took over the policy, that was the class coverage that was available. So it's nothing that came up recently.
Okay. And
So, can I clarify?
Is that correct, sir?
from the information, Mr. Attorney, of what I have seen, I only looked at the bill from September of 2014 because the agreement that we had for this gap policy was that we would continue any coverage that was in place, that life insurance coverage was in place, and we would carry that on for whatever was in place on September 30th. I do not have access to, I do have access. I have not looked at bills from
Previous years.
Previous years or previous months. I do know that those are sent to the city, and all our members on a monthly basis. So if there was something that was incorrect, I can't speak to it at that time.
I can tell you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Commission, without it getting into details, that less than 5 years ago, we lost 2 employees in different classes of the City of West Miami to illnesses that resulted in deaths. And those policies that were in place 5 years ago paid out the levels of coverage that were in the class. So that much I can tell you, and that was prior to the time that we gave you our insurance coverage for you to manage it and administer it.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Madam.
but
May I, for the
but
record-
I got a question, Mr. Attorney, first, for my clarification. So this has been in place for a while, but I'm going to ask you a question. Was the reduction due to the age in place before? Or this is something that came new after we
I
the
learned of
policy?
the reduction in place after the issues surfaced that the company was having difficulty buying life insurance at our levels of coverage. I was not made aware of it before.
So do we have it on record? Do we have it on record that this was,
Yes, the string of
Yeah.
emails back and forth will reflect that, yes, this came up at the time of the renewal.
okay.
After the commission renewed the whole bundle of health and life with FMIT during the month of August.
Okay, Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Mayor and Madam and Mr. Commissioner, I have been here with you for 21 years. But this involves an issue that pertains to me personally and affects me as an individual personally. So I'm hereby offering that if you have any questions or anybody has any questions that I might be feathering my own nest, you have in the past retained the services of another counsel that could come and sit in my behalf, and I'll be out of the picture, and counsel will advise you accordingly. I don't want to permeate my statements because of my personal interest. So I just have a couple of comments that when I was employed, I was advised that I was going to have a certain leverage of benefits, including life insurance. That a list of benefits for the 65 employees that we have in the city of West Miami, including the commissioner, the city attorney, the manager, the clerk, and all the other employees, including the police department, had been given to the insurance company. And on that basis, we have to assume that their people had made out whatever adjustment in price was concerned. I was never ever advised at any point in time that my benefits have been reduced at all. So I think that we have been being billed for something that I don't know where I really stand. And personally, I think that that would be something that affects me personally. Since all of a sudden, I don't know who made the decision, but the decision was made that I was not going to be equal to those that were represented in the section 2-6 of the City of Miami ordinances, the City of West Miami ordinances. I have filed a legal opinion whereby I have stated what I interpret the law to be. In addition, in overabundance of caution, as the commission always knows, I just don't do this shooting from the hip. In anticipation of this meeting, I called the Insurance Commissioner's office and asked for the General Counsel. And I was advised of certain issues, questions that I had. I communicated that to the manager.
That's right.
The manager and I, again, talked to the gentleman that spoke to us in the General Counsel's office, and we were advised, number one, and she can state it for me, that the age reduction in benefits will be, number one, illegal. Number two, I was also, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this was not once, but twice, and if we need it, that we will put it in writing. Number two, that members of a class, one class, cannot be segregated and have one set of benefits for one and a set of benefits for another. In my particular case, I am a member of a class as set forth in an ordinance that I think dates before I came out to be a city commission. So I was not even a part of that particular ordinance. I just wanted to say that for the record. And again, I offer the commission for me to step down and for somebody else to sit in my place.
Okay, before, this commission has always been very transparent, and your point is duly noted. I just have one question. When you said to step down, we're talking about as of today, if we
No,
come
for this issue.
this issue, only for this issue. Okay? Well, Mr. Villalobos, I think it's a good idea to keep it, because unfortunately, we're human, and sometimes emotions get in the way, and sometimes also when something
I'm emotionless.
you're emotional. Yes.
Well, you know, what I'm driving at is this.
I'm in
checked-
agreement. I don't know how the
I checked-
commission feels, but I think,
I checked with the Office of the Insurance Commission. And in order for me to not to misunderstand anything, I wanted the manager to be in that conversation. And the conversation stands for what it is, and the manager can advise the commission whether I have misrepresented anything.
No, he's on the money, and the conversation occurred this morning at around 11 o'clock in the morning, and we spoke to Mr. Marquez, if my memory doesn't fail me, who is an attorney, and he is the appointed counsel at that level. And he basically provided us with that opinion, and Mr. Villalobos has issued a legal opinion subsequent to that conversation,
And based on that conversation.
based on that conversation, citing or reciting what occurred this morning, and basically memorializing what occurred this morning.
So we have two issues at this point. Number one, that at some point was presented to you, represented to you, that we were going to continue with that certain level of coverage that we had in August. The commission took action based on that representation. At some point in time, it became apparent to the legal cities that they had problems. We were advised on September 30th that we'll be without insurance on the following day, right?
If I could,
Okay. Now, based on our conversations, Mr. Aaron agreed that we should not be left up in the air, and that as a general rule, insurance companies afford a period of time in which you can seek other insurance. After that, it came out that we received an email by Mr. Carpenter.
Mr. Carper.
Carper, that we would get a gap insurance until such time as the issue be resolved. We were not told January 1st, January 15th, or February or March. We were told until such time as we had that issue resolved. We have had an offer presently by the legal cities, and we have an offer by
Mutual of Omaha.
Mutual of Omaha, and a possible offer by Mr. Amores. It will be up to you to decide whether or not you want to entertain that, or whether you want to entertain anything else. I just stand by my words. I think that both companies have an offer for you to consider. So I would respectfully suggest that you listen to what they have to say and act accordingly.
Yes, go ahead.
One question.
Last issue was this. Under normal circumstances, we would have gone out to, as the Florida law requires, to an RFP, request for proposal. However, the first order of business will be for you to declare that this is an emergency because of the time limitations and the fact that it would be quite a task to go out for bid. We need to advertise it. We would have to obtain whoever wanted to come and bid. In addition, we would have to expose ourselves to bid protests, etc. So it could be several months. It could be 3, 4, 5, 6 months before you could do anything. So on recommendations by the manager, she has to recommend it to you whether or not this is an emergency, and you have to act accordingly.
And I believe that we have an emergency in our hands. I mean, you have a police department, you have a contractual obligation. We need to insure the officers, and we need to provide benefits to the other employees of the city and the officers of the city. So
And if
I would
you-
recommend that you, in some formal fashion, as recommended by the city attorney, declare this an emergency item so that we can at least now take it to the next level.
And waive
bidding
competitive
process.
bids.
Okay, eye for eye, I think is an emergency item, and that's why we're sitting here on a special meeting.
I agree with you. I
So,
agree.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so there you have it. Commissioner Rodriguez, go ahead. I know you had some questions or,
We've all received numerous emails, and there's been countless hours put into this, but I have one pertinent question. Do we or do we not have coverage today? Are we covered?
Okay,
Is there
okay,
insurance in
okay,
place
okay.
right now? Anybody?
You
You have to answer. it.
No, no, wait a minute.
And I can answer that question.
You have to
And
answer.
and I will answer that question, Commissioner. In the conversation that I've had with the city manager, and I had put that in writing back on, I think it was October 10th, because of this whole, and I'll call it a fiasco.
Mr. Carper, if you don't mind me interrupting. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
We do.
However, yes?
Yes, however.
I need, or we need, to have that participation agreement that I had sent over to the manager a couple of days ago, executed by her or her office, and get that back into my hands so the standard insurance company will actually be the insurer for that gap period. Otherwise, it's on myself and the Florida League of Cities, because there is no formal executed contract for a carrier.
The answer
Yes,
is-
we have insurance, however, we don't have insurance until we
The
sign
answer
this
is no.
form. Is that what I'm
The answer,
understanding?
you are insured. I made that promise, and I put that, I did put that in writing. You are insured. If there was a claim, that it would be paid. And I have my Director of Health, to affirm that. He's the one that pays those claims out. You are insured.
But the issue is
The
whether or
issue is-
not, if we decide not to execute the participation agreement, we would or we would not be insured.
Another, just a follow-up question to that. This form came up now, even though we've been insured since the renewal didn't go through? Why did this form come up now and not then? If our coverage is predicated on this form?
Our coverage and our contract with our former carrier, the AIG folks, was terminated for October 1st. There was no new contract signed by the City of West Miami for any sort of life insurance benefit after that time. Being the League of Cities, it is my job to, I can't change a policy or change how things run and then expect you to sign something tomorrow. So I had made a promise that I would cover anything that happened moving forward, and that still was the case. However, at the end of the day, the standard insurance, in discussions that we've had, the standard insurance would, like to assume that responsibility as opposed to the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust. From an auditing perspective, it's a lot better for the standard insurance company to assume that risk than the trust. You are covered. Whether or not that agreement is signed, it ultimately would depend on who pays that, is what I'm kind of getting down to, and I'll be blunt about that. If somebody happened to, God forbid, pass away today, there's no executed agreement that says a standard would pay that. That would come out of the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust.
All right?
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Let's go to the point. Direct to the point. Suppose because this gentleman has another, is a very professional insurance agent, he have a proposition is not here yet because he have no time to complete that, the presentation. So suppose that because of that and because of these things created by changes, we are going to use the gap and we are going to take this for a week or maybe January 3rd, the first week, the next meeting.
The email said January 15th,
Okay,
but Aaron said today,
Your Honor, please answer me.
Yes.
The next commission meeting when is?
January 7th,
January 7th.
2015.
January 7th. We have a gap until January 15, according with your words, right?
No.
No, that's not what they said.
That's what I was
Mayor.
trying to
This is
clarify.
what we're trying to clarify to you.
Clarify, because
That's
we're
what we were
talking
trying to
about
do.
there is a gap until January 15.
There's not.
No.
Let the
So
attorney and.
please clear that.
And I would need to have that message in front of me, and I save all my messages, I would be happy to go back into that, and I could do that. Per my recollection, my message to the City of West Miami was that participation agreement would be in effect until a new coverage was secured or the end of 2014, December 31st. On January 1st, it would be the responsibility of the City of West Miami to secure a new policy. And that would have been sent probably within the last couple of days. It would have been sent along with that participation agreement.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I think we should decide this today. We are in emergency. Let's decide this today.
Yeah, but Missy, we don't have the proposition, another
So
proposition.
this is an emergency.
Well,
This is an emergency meeting.
And Mr. Attorney, I would like to clarify also, in some conversation that I've had with the manager today and with the Standard Insurance Company with respect to the ordinance that you were referring to, I have confirmed that because of that ordinance, you are a covered class under that standard insurance policy. I have confirmed that. So I apologize for any back and forth and trouble. If I'm going to give an answer, I want to make sure that it's 100%. And so I did go back and do my due diligence, and with support from the manager, I have confirmed that you are a covered class. However, I'm only able to go by what my billing shows me. And I am shown that, for whatever reason, I don't know how that happened, you're in the system for $20,000 of insurance. And so the agreement from this Standard Insurance Company is that they're going to grandfather or carry everything that was on effect from the end of September, they carry that along. And so if you're on there for $20,000, they're going to carry that on for $20,000. If there's another employee on there or another active member at $100,000, they're going to carry them on to $100,000. So for what was covered prior, I can't speak to any of that, but I did want to clarify for the record that you are a covered class under this proposal that we're speaking of today.
Yeah, pursuant to Florida statute, you cannot deprive a member of the class as to the benefits of the rest of the class. But anyway, I understand what he's saying. What I'm saying is that personally, I have to clarify this. We were under the impression, and the city manager supplied the insurer, that the list and the classes of employees and beneficiaries of the city of West Miami, and the city attorney was classified at how much?
At $100,000 coverage.
Okay. So
And
whether they build or not, did not
Yes.
build or whatever, this is something that is outside of our hands. This falls into the purview of who made a mistake in the insurance company, not here.
Madam Manager.
Maybe this will help clarify the question by Commissioner Suarez. I have an email from Aaron Carper dated Monday, December 8th at 4:51 PM. It's addressed to my office, and you've highlighted some of the issues that we were working with, Aaron. And number one, it says participation agreement between the FMIT Standard and the City of West Miami covers the gap from 10/1 until and remains effective until a new policy becomes effective, or January 1st, 2015. It was my mistake. You did say January 1st. I thought I had read 15.
We've read so many numbers, Madam Manager, over the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
3 or 4 months.
This goes beyond an
If it
insurance
needs to-
101
If it
class.
needs to be till the 15th, let me know.
Yeah.
But does that say anything about that participation agreement?
Yes, it does.
It
We
says
have-
that
Yes,
we're not covered unless that participation agreement is signed?
that's what I understood in my conversation with Aaron, and that's what has been represented in the email.
Yeah. May I bring up
Please
here
do.
the director of the health program, who also is the director of the life program here at the League of
Yeah, but I
Cities?
have a question before that, Mayor. That participation agreement that you talk about in order to get the gap until January 15.
First, I'm sorry, it was my mistake. January 1st. I read 115,
In addition,
But we already talked to him about January 15. He
January
agreed.
1st.
Will you let me know, speak please, sir? When I asked him about January 15, he said, if you sign the participation agreement, that's his word.
no, he said whether or not you've signed the participation agreement.
But
Is
we
that what you
talked-
said, sir?
When I asked about the January 15,
Mr. Commissioner Suarez?
One person at a time, please.
Let's listen to what he said. We're covered whether or not we execute the joint participation agreement. Am I correct, sir?
You are. Yes,
Okay,
yes, Mr.
that's the
Attorney.
answer.
Do we have that in writing?
We
I'm
have-
sorry, but
I-
I am not comfortable going by words anymore. So unless I see that in writing, I am
I
not
understand
comfortable.
completely.
Do we have that in writing?
We do not have that in
No.
writing.
Then
at the
I'm going to
moment.
say we don't have coverage.
well, I go back to the question. We talking about the 15 or January 1st?
We're talking about the end of the year.
The end of the year. So this agreement that you asked for to be signed is until January in order to get. Now, when your proposition be ready?
Next week,
Next week? By when, Tuesday, Wednesday, what?
season now with the Obamacare and so forth. All the companies are very busy, a lot of proposals. We sent the first one is already working on it, which is MetLife, which is one of the largest companies in the United States.
But, okay, I need to, we need to be on record here. Sir, can you come up to the, I'm sorry, Aaron.
No problem.
Can you come up to the microphone and identify yourself for the record and an address, please?
Good afternoon, City Manager, Mayor, City Council. My name is Manuel Amor. I represent the Insurance Marketing Center of Miami. And I was given,
The address, please.
2500 Northwest 79th Avenue, Suite 208, Doral, Florida.
I just need to keep the record straight, please, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
And I received an email Tuesday, the 9th at 1:30 in the afternoon with all the list of the employees and the classification, 100,000, 50,000, and 20,000. We submitted right there Tuesday afternoon. Today is Thursday. It's impossible to have a quote in 2 days. So we'll be, I was told by next week, but MetLife is already looking at the proposal with good eyes, and we should have an answer by next week. That's my understanding of the matter.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Attorney, I need some guidance over here because we got too many things on the table. I mean, my understanding is we're here today due to an emergency situation, okay? And due to that emergency situation, we have to take action today, from what I understand.
I don't think so.
Wait, one at a time. This is not listen, this is not an argument, okay? One person at a time. You think that is an emergency today, Commissioner Suarez doesn't think. So what we need to do is to establish if it is an emergency, yes or no. That's number one.
The city manager already proposed the question to you, and you did declare an emergency.
Okay.
And it's up to you
So-
to accept.
I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me that.
Okay, there's two commissioners that made out a proposal, and you may act on each one of them, whether you want it done it today or you want it done it later on. And it's up to you.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
With all due respect to all agents that are in this room, we have declared an emergency. We have no insurance today. I know Mr.
we do
Carper
have-
has said
we do
we
have-
do,
we-
but we don't have it in writing. With all due respect, Mr. Carper, I'm big on words and handshakes, but when it comes to this type of legal situation, if it's not in writing, a handshake won't do. Not now, not under these circumstances. No disrespect to you or your company. If it's not in writing and something were to happen, we're not covered. You could move on to another job tomorrow. So we've worked with you, you've been wonderful, but without it in writing, the city is in, I think, is in a legal position that we need to make a decision today, because 2 weeks, the holidays, with all due respect to Mr. Amor, we don't have time. And I know you didn't have enough time to present, but we already had a situation before you were brought into the picture. So with all due respect, I'm not taking away from the fact that you were not given enough time. I fully understand that. But we need to make a decision today. We don't have insurance. We cannot go through the holidays. We cannot go another day without insurance, is my opinion.
Okay. Therefore, why do we, last time I asked for a spreadsheet to be put together so we can compare apples to apples. And at this time, what I would like to do is, Mr. Carper, your offers, whatever you offer, you have communicated to the manager, and it's in this spreadsheet?
That would be great. Mr. Mayor, I have not seen said spreadsheet
Okay.
at this time.
No, it was only provided to the mayor and city commission as a follow-up to the meetings. It was
Okay.
done yesterday evening. And if I may recap what is here, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. We have a census of 65 eligible employees in whatever positions they hold. We have 3 classes. The first class is a life insurance policy for senior management, commission, attorney, and that is for a coverage of $100,000, and it was subject to age reduction benefits. Class 2 is a $50,000 coverage for sworn law enforcement board, sworn law enforcement members of the West Miami Police Department. And Class 3, a $20,000 life coverage for all other regular employees. There is a benefit reduction schedule as follows, from age 70 to 74, 60%, age 75 to 79, 40%, and age 80 plus 20%. The monthly premium that we receive, the quote from the FMIT through Standard, is $1,258.10 with life plus DLU, and I don't know what that stands for. You may want to enlighten us on DLU. That's what the proposal says in your.
It should, Madam Manager, that may or may not have been a typo on my part, I'm not sure. Should be AD&D. Because I am not familiar with the
Okay.
term DLU at all.
Okay,
so-
all right, that's what I understood. It does have, features portability and conversion, and it shouldn't say conversation, it should say conversion, feature in it, and the rate is guaranteed for 36 months pursuant to the latest proposal that was conveyed by the league. Correct, sir?
What we have talked, our agreement is a 36-month agreement.
Okay, and the age reduction issue also kicks in, and there is one question on the issue of one position that still remains, that you were, as of today, trying to get
As-
that position insured.
Madam Manager, before this morning, it was in question. As of this point, and I believe that I had sent you correspondence on that.
Yes, you have.
Maybe at about 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon, that the city attorney, per what you had sent me with respect to your ordinances, the city attorney is a included class. However, that kind of gets into that issue of, well, they decided that they were going to grandfather everybody in. He was for whatever reason, he was only being insured $20,000. At the end of the day, what Ms. Gonzalez had sent me in October 1st was not, we sent the census October 1st. And so any of that census, that is in this new proposal. What had happened prior to that census being sent to me, I don't oversee every single bill that comes in. All I do know is that the city of West Miami was paying premium to the FMIT during the last couple of months. The Standard Insurance Company would pay if a claim did come up in this time period. Standard Insurance would pay. You're paying premium. You're paying for something. You would be covered if something happened. I will put that in writing. So.
Okay,
So,
well,
did I recap
You
summarized?
You summarized everything perfectly, Madam Manager. However, I do have, and if you gave me a moment,
Sure.
I could possibly find, I remember that figure being a little bit different. I remember that figure being somewhere around 1050.
Any estimate?
1050, assuming it was, I believe it was about 1087 with the city attorney at 100,000, and if we made an adjustment accordingly, I believe that figure comes down to, quick math, maybe 1060 a month. It may be plus or minus a few dollars, my apologies, but it should be in and around that range. If you gave me a moment, I could find that correspondence.
I have a
I think
question.
I saw those numbers, I read that today. And my question, and the reason I remember it, because I'm thinking, if you add the attorney, why is it less? That's why those numbers stuck to my mind, like, is this a typo? Why did it go down when you add something? So,
So,
Don't question that.
no, but I was like, but that's why those numbers he just said made sense to me, because I read them today and I didn't understand.
and this,
So, let me, I have a question for, so what you're talking now is that the attorney will be in the group?
could you please say
The
that again?
attorney will be covered in the group,
The attorney
as a part of the group?
as covered as part of the group. The agreement that has been communicated to me by the Standard Insurance Company is that they would include the city attorney on this policy and grandfather him in for his level of coverage that he had prior to this October 1st gap, per se.
Which was
$20,000. I know that is not what was on the census that Ms. Gonzalez had sent me in, I think it was the middle of October when we started having this discussion. However, that was what our insurer,
I'm
has
just
come
going
up
to
with.
ask a question to the commission. How would you feel if that happened to you?
How you feel,
If the same thing happened to you, that without your knowledge, someone would make a mistake and would drop you down 75%?
no, I will feel outraged, I'm very angry, so what?
I rest my case.
Okay, Ms. Gonzalez.
Yes, I
Madam Clerk.
remember when we started the contract with the Florida League of Cities back in, we implemented your program on, from the
10
year 10-11.
10/1/2014, and
No, no.
2013.
No. I think it was from the year 2010 through to the 2011 when we started with the Florida League of Cities.
2 fiscal years ago?
Madam Manager, my
Yes.
first day with the Florida League of Cities was in the summer of 2011. I believe one of my first open enrollments
Was the city.
in
West Miami.
2011
So it was-
here at West
okay,
Miami.
Yeah,
So,
and what was
okay.
provided to you was what was in place at that time. So that coverage of the city attorney of $20,000 was what was in place at that time.
It was not, it was.
No.
At least, that's what I recollect from,
You recollect that it was not.
No.
Is that correct?
No. My recollection is
I see.
100,000,
Give it the number, give it the number.
$100,000.
Before you,
issue-
before you answer that question.
The issue is this,
Right.
if someone misquoted, that would be their problem, not mine. Because if I was given a quote for $100,000, I mean, I think just put yourself in my place. Assuming that somebody made a mistake or something and not us, whoever insured was. That somehow you were dropped from $100,000 to $20,000.
If I may, for purpose of clarification, we went from being self-insured, and we had Anchor Benefits Management Consulting as our third-party administrator, and as our TPA, they purchased a life policy that they billed us for. The coverage, the level of coverage back then was, the mayor and city commission each had a life insurance policy of $100,000, which was in effect for years, I think since I came to work here 31 years ago. The police department had at one point $80,000 coverage, and we brought it down to $50,000 to keep costs down during the negotiations of the contract with the PBA. And all other employees had $20,000. The city manager and the city clerk, as part of senior management staff, were bundled into the level of coverage that the city commission had, the city attorney had, and it was known as Class 1 for all practical purpose, or for the sake of reporting
For
here.
how much?
$100,000. And that was in effect for years and years and years.
Mayor, I have a question for Aaron.
Yes.
You start with us in
Couple of years ago.
2012, right?
I believe my first day was about around June 1st, 2011.
2011. So your company, I mean, you has been charging us for his policy 100,000. We has been paying your company for him,
No.
the coverage for 100,000.
No, sir. That's where the discrepancy comes. We looked at the September bill, which was the last bill that we got under AIG, and we realized last week, and we only came to realize this because we had a problem with another employee insurance matter. And Aneri was talking to Cindy Rochester, and Cindy was very hesitant because she led Aneri to believe, our city clerk to believe, that we had no live coverage at the time, and she insisted that we contact Aaron Carper immediately, and we did. Okay, that issue was resolved at your level, Aaron, over at the FMIT office. But in looking at the bill, we detailed the bill, and we found that the commissioners had coverage of $100,000, everybody in the commission, through September 30th under that policy with AIG, and the city attorney we were being billed for a $20,000 life policy.
That was 2014.
That was September 30th, 2014.
What about
Yeah.
2013?
I don't have those bills.
Because that's the question. If we had 100,000 for the lawyer, when it was Anchor and he took over that policy, that's what I want to
Right.
know. 2012, 2013.
If I may suggest to the mayor and the commission, why don't you allow both sides to just go ahead? First of all, vote on whether or not you're going to vote today or another day. And if you're going to vote today or another day, just hear the proposal. from them.
Do you have any other questions for me,
Not,
Commissioner?
not at this point.
Okay.
Not at this point. But, Madam Manager, but you have three lines in here. So the only one that you have discussed so far is the yellow one.
Yes, that
Okay.
is the one through the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, which is our current insurance carrier.
The next one is
The
Mutual Omaha.
next one is Mutual of Omaha. Mutual of Omaha is represented here by Michelle Freelander and Peter Buse, who are independent agents, insurance agents.
Okay.
They have brought several proposals to the city, including Lincoln, I believe, was one of the company, Mutual of Omaha, and I know they have another proposal as of late this afternoon. You, Mr.
Just a simple question. You have three tiers here.
Yes, and
We
I
discussed yellow-
explained the first one.
Okay, who are then I have a second one in light blue.
That's what I'm trying to.
And then, just, no,
I'm being advised by the city attorney that they should present their own benefits.
That's the way,
Yes.
they should present what they have.
but I'm the mayor and I'm the chair and I'm gonna ask a question and you're gonna answer the question. I'm sorry, okay? Madam Manager, one question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we explained the yellow. I don't want you to explain the whole thing, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but I'm losing my patience here. Okay? All I'm asking is that we have one in blue, and the next one is AARP. I'm sorry.
AARP.
Okay, who's AARP?
AARP is the American
present?
Retired.
Are they
Associ-
present? To-
No, this is part of the proposal by Mutual of Omaha.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Okay?
My God.
Mr. Busset, please come to the, again, I'm sorry, I never lose my cool, but today is one of those days.
That's okay. I used to sit where you were sitting there, so I know you guys have.
I'm
big
sitting in a hot seat.
And I was a commissioner here as well, so I can understand and appreciate the pressures that you guys are put under from taxpayers, from city residents, and from everybody else. So thank you for allowing me to be here, and I'm going to be brief because Michelle Freelander is my alternative. We did go to the rest of the market. I'll take exception to Mr. Suarez. We do have proposals from the whole market, from Unum, from the Standards, from Lincoln, and so forth. And we've compared the different plans. And I brought Michelle to, at the end of the day, there's a proposal from Unum, and there's two proposals from Mutual of Omaha. One includes the reduction program, and one does not. So that decision is going to be very simple for you guys to make as soon as she finishes her presentation.
Thank you. Michelle,
Thank you.
welcome to the city of West Miami.
Thank you.
State your name, state welcome.
Michelle Friedlander.
And your address,
Mr.
please.
10444 Southwest 17th Manor, Davie, Florida, 33324. I came a long way.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as Mr. Busey mentioned, we did go out to the marketplace. We had the request come in October when all of these issues came up. And as you've heard, most of the carriers, all of the carriers do have inherently in their plans an age reduction. They do this for cost containment measures. It's their standard operating procedure. These contracts are filed with each state and approved by each insurance department and insurance commissioners. That's how they're filed. That being said, there are other options, and each insurance company looks at a risk, looks at it as a business proposition, and determines a rate based on what the risk is. So your options are to continue with an age reduction, which is the rates that you have in front of you. The rate was .44, and with Mutual of Omaha, it came out to $1,225 a month to cover everybody with those age reductions. I did get them to improve the age reduction a little bit from the initial proposal, that at age 70, it would reduce to 40% of the initial face amount, and age 75, it would reduce to 30% of the initial face amount. So that's option one, is to continue with those age reductions. If, in fact, you would like to provide full coverage without any age reduction, that is a possibility. There is a cost involved in doing that. So the other extreme would be absolutely no reduction in the entire plan for all employees. If we were to do that, the rate goes from .44 to 1.5 per $1,000 of benefit. The total premium is over $4,000 a month in order to provide that plan at no reduction. We good so far? Okay. Third option, a little bit creative here. Yolanda and I had spoken, and she asked me to come up with some other alternatives to be able to provide this benefit without an age reduction. So my third option, which is the one that I would actually recommend that the council and the commissioners consider, is to have the basic plan with the cost containment feature of the age reduction, but then have a supplemental plan. It's called a voluntary supplemental plan, where we would provide an offer to anybody, really, any of the employees that wanted to purchase their own individual policies could do that on a guaranteed issue basis. There is also an age reduction in that, but by combining them and stacking them, and please ask me questions if this isn't making sense at all, but by combining them, we could have a net effect of those commissioners that had the age reduction from 100,000 down to 50. I could now put another layer of an additional 50 on top, thus bringing them back to 100,000. And the cost for that, if the city were to pick up the cost for those three individuals that were affected to make them whole, would be a total of an additional $1,044 a month, bringing the new total to $2,294.20. And then you could make available anybody else who wanted to participate and buy their own policy and pay the cost out of their pocket for supplemental insurance on a guaranteed issue basis would be eligible to do that.
Okay, so the additional, to begin with, for those three person is 1,000 what?
$44.20.
$44?
And 20 cents, yes,
That's
per month,
per month.
for
Oh,
the three
okay.
individuals.
Okay, so the total a year will be?
About
That's just over-
$12,500.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
Then-
those
then-
rates are
okay.
age-rated.
The previous one that you presented, you said, I got a little confused. I thought you said it was $4,000 a month?
So option A was an age reduction. That was about $1,200 a month. Option B was to cover everybody without any age reduction. That's about $4,000 a month.
Okay. So if you multiply that times 12, we're talking about $48,000 a year.
That is correct.
Okay, all right, no problem to me, okay. Anything else?
Let me just
Oh,
clarify, Madam
yes.
Manager, the first option, is that the blue here what we're looking at?
That is the
Yes.
one that we had received at the time that we developed the matrix.
That's the one
Right.
you're referring to as option
And
one?
that was
Option
initial,
one,
yes,
that was
the
the
initial
first
option. Right.
option.
Okay.
That is
And
correct.
also, that option contained a stacking feature in it through the AARP, which is the organization that insures retired people and offers them other benefits as well.
But this stacking policy is not what you just referred to.
No,
No.
I
That's
did
something
not,
different.
that's
Option
correct.
three is not this.
That's
Yes,
option three.
I don't know what cost, I did not present the AARP option.
Okay.
Right. And I did want to mention that all of these plans that I'm mentioning do include the conversion and the portability features. I know that was an issue for comparison. Those features are included. So if somebody wanted to take the policy with them, they could, or convert it to a permanent plan regardless of their health. Those are options as well.
Okay. And also the rate guarantee on that, if I may ask for the record, was 2 years. Am
2
I
years,
correct?
there is an option for a 3-year rate guarantee at an additional cost. It would be an additional $93 per month to increase that guarantee to 3 years.
I have a question here.
Yes.
This is AARP stock. This is the only thing I have. Omaha.
Yeah, that,
This is the only thing I
I
have.
didn't provide that.
You don't provide that?
She brought it today with her. At the time that the matrix was developed last night before we went home, the only option that existed was the Mutual of Omaha and a AARP component or supplemental insurance that was offered by Mr. Bousset through his
Yes,
proposal.
And I am an authorized AARP agent, so I'm here representing them. But before we went to that option, I thought that there were other options better available,
Right.
which was the Mutual of Omaha, either with age reduction or no age reduction, or if that wasn't the case, then the AARP would have been an option.
Right.
But it depends on which way you end up voting, whether you take the age reduction or no age reduction, maybe the AARP is not even a factor here.
But that's my question.
It may not
Because
even.
AARP, I received, those
Yes.
brochures.
We all do.
If you want to buy this, an accident. Now, so this is not,
Yeah.
this is not what you're talking about. Now.
No.
For me, no.
No.
And I apologize, I don't have something to hand
The
out to
stock
everybody. I
that you-
have a
The stock that
summary.
you're talking is something else.
Yes.
It's Unum or Mutual of Omaha.
Okay. Now, and this blue line here. This is what you're talking about, option one, Yolanda? No reduction?
No, sir. This one came with a reduction. This is what we had available to us at the time this matrix was developed yesterday.
Well,
Today, Michelle, when she got here, I believe, Mayor, you were present, and the city attorney was present. She brought yet another, in her conversations with Mutual of Omaha,
And
she
you-
was able to get them to agree to insure everybody at the classes with no age reduction penalty, if you want to call it that, but it's going to cost the city more money.
But I don't have here that option.
No,
No, because she just brought it
Okay.
to the.
So just to
verbally.
clarify, I've been working on
Another
this on a
question.
regular
Is-
basis, and I just
is
got
it-
this approved literally
What?
while driving here. I got the final offer approved, but I do have, if you want, you can, if I can submit it.
Okay, please, and one copy, do you have a copy to the attorney, please?
Give it to the clerk, and
Proposal.
thank you very
If you
much.
want to,
There's only one copy, right?
if I can pass it along if you want.
That's the Unum, and then I have also the Mutual of Omaha, but that's the Unum proposal. Because I was charged with trying to come up with an option to
Commissioner
make
Suarez, can
everybody
you take
whole.
one and pass it along, please?
It's all the same.
It's all the same? Oh, I thought it was only one.
Yeah, there's just the one.
It's all one.
Together, it's one package.
Okay.
So look at it
Right.
and we'll pass it over.
Why don't we
No,
take
but I have
5
to read
minutes?
it. I take-
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's
My-
only-
It's
This
only
is
It's
one.
just one set.
these two
It's one
copies.
set.
Okay, that's fine.
That's why they only have one copy.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine.
We have to read the ones, I don't care about that. I care about this. The numbers.
$2,294.
Here, you said, like, 50,000
Yes,
for everybody,
yes.
right?
No, okay, that's,
That's what here said. It's
Can I
printed here.
this is specifically focusing on the three individuals that would be affected by the age reduction. That's what I was charged with doing, was trying to get these people to the $100,000 level. So that's what I focused on the
So-
summary.
But this is up with age reduction.
Yes,
Okay. So this is 100,000
100,000 total for these three individuals.
except the 3 individuals.
No.
No, for those three individuals. This is specifically focusing on the three people that were affected
Yeah, but
by
he
the
said
age reduction.
50,000.
And an additional 50,000 on the bottom within the base plan. It's included within the basic life plan.
Benefits reduction said.
Right. Age 70 reduced to 50,000. The additional 50,000 is broken out by cost for each individual because they are age-rated.
That's what
And
we're
the
talking
additional
about.
50,000
After
would
si-
bring them to 100,000.
Would bring them to 100,000 total. Between the basic life and the voluntary supplement, it would be 100,000 total for these three individuals.
And the voluntary supplement is not the AARP, it's another one.
No, this is a separate plan.
But I don't have here.
Cost of the AARP.
I gave the rates.
That, the full proposal for this supplement and for the base plan is
Well,
what that
that's why
package is
said
that I gave you.
We should take care of this a week from now or something, because it's not complete for no one. Mr. Amor doesn't bring This is incomplete. It's not in black and white like Commissioner Ronda said.
The full proposal is there, and
I know.
my apologies, as I mentioned, I was just,
I'm sorry.
got
but, you know,
this done this
read
morning.
this.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have to confess that I'm confused, okay? So, let's put me, let's take an example, assuming that Commissioner Suarez dies. And he's under the,
Another example.
Well, he's gonna take him out of the picture, so it's just you're the closest to him.
All right.
And I-
how much money
Okay,
is his
thank you.
family going to get?
Perfect question. $100,000 if you choose the Unum plan between the basic life and the voluntary supplemental life. If you purchase both plans, his family beneficiaries named within the plan would get $100,000.
Okay, so if he dies next year, how much money does he get?
$100,000.
And the following year, how much does he get?
$100,000 between the two
I'd
plans.
like to ask the same
Go to
question.
reverse. What about if Mr. Villalobos just dies?
Assuming you take both plans, $100,000.
$100,000. And how much would that cost a year?
Per year would,
12,500
well, no,
for
the
the three
total
individuals.
cost would be $22.94 times 12, so that's
No.
22.94 times 12. Who was a calculator?
$22.94
$26,000?
This is a month.
Those are monthly rates.
The third option, right?
$22.94, 20 times 12.
That would be $27,528.
How much?
$27,528.
Which is a more cost-effective approach than the 48,000.
In addition
In addition to what we had before.
the 14,000 and change
No, no,
for
that's
the
the total,
regular?
that's the total cost.
Oh, for the
Total
entire
cost
policy,
for
for
the
all
entire plan.
classes insured up
Yes,
to the different
Yes.
levels as provided by the class?
yes.
So no reduction in coverage?
So this will be by Unum, no,
Yes, this is by Unum.
Can we see it, please?
I'm sorry, repeat that total again for the year?
27,528 versus the initial Mutual of Omaha proposal that
Was-
contained age reductions, which is about 14,000 and change with the AD&D component.
Correct. So it's an additional $13,000 a
A
year
year.
about.
Okay.
13,200 more a year.
My question, with the Legal Cities insurance, for lack of a better word, because I'm a very simple person, the Legal City insurance and Mutual Omaha, were they compare in price?
Yes,
They're compatible.
yes.
The only difference to begin with, from what I understand, was the portability.
The portability, no, but that
Or the
was
conversion.
resolved later
For both.
on with the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust. The only issue that was remaining between the first proposal from FMIT and Mutual of Omaha was the issue of the city attorney's office, his coverage. That was the only unresolved issue, and the amount of the benefit that was applied to that position. He would be insured for 20,000 versus 100,000. Am I correct, Mr. Carper?
But he's talking with Villalobos, it's another word. I have a question for you. Can you talk about the rate of this Unum?
Yes.
Can you talk about the rate of this company Unum? I never heard about it.
You know.
Unum is actually the largest writer of group benefits, group disability and group life. They are the largest company. They're an A-rated company.
What is it, AAA? What kind of
Yes,
rate?
yeah, they're a AAA rated
Been
company.
around for 160 years. We do a lot of business with them, large law firms and
Firms,
so forth.
correct.
Utilize the services of Unum.
I have a question. When you talk, this quotation is including the basic, the basic,
There's two separate proposals.
No, you
One
have-
is for the basic life, which has an
Yeah.
age reduction, and the
Basic, you
second
did-
is for the voluntary life to supplement the basic.
that supplement will be adding to this.
That is correct.
That's your
Yes.
presentation to the city.
Yes.
This plus the,
Okay,
Yes.
Mrs. Suarez, Mr. Attorney, we need to have, excuse me, we need to have a single
question here.
meeting.
So I would like to propose, if that was the case, Michelle, when would we be able to cover these folks? As of what timing?
You could choose to have coverage effective as of December 1st, December 15th, January 1st. It's your choice. We could bind coverage with the application and the initial check.
December 1st, you mean?
You can backdate retroactively to December 1st, yes.
So meaning immediately,
If we did this today, yes,
as soon as we sign on
What
the
is
dotted
it?
line?
yes.
Or if we were to decide today, right now? Today,
Yes.
right now.
Or you could do December 15th. You could choose when you'd like the policy effective, yes. And you can bind coverage with a check.
let me see the
Because
first page.
we're licensed agent and we have fiduciary responsibilities. Whenever we pick up a signed application and a check, it's binding right there and then. So if somebody gets
It
hurt
can be
tonight,
effective immediately.
they would have been binded.
I make a motion to get Mutual of Omaha.
Hey, you have a question for Aaron, for the league? You was asking then something?
No, I don't have no question. The only, I didn't have a question, I just wanted to have a single meeting.
I do the motion.
No, there is one more.
There's a motion on the
No,
table.
I have a question before she made the motion.
The-
I ask you a question because she makes a motion. This that you're talking about, 100,000
Yes, sir.
for all the table plus the lawyer. That's include the stock, I mean, the way the additional 50,000.
Yes, it would, you're combining two
Because then
plans.
you will reduce 50, so it will be benefits reduction.
Each
black and
plan
white,
would have a net
have here
benefit of 50,000.
Benefit reduction.
Yes.
Now, I don't see here where you explain, can you explain me here, what is the other, the additional coverage?
There's two separate,
Yeah, please, show me. Yeah, show me, please. Because Commissioner Rodriguez wants to see everything in black and white, and I follow her. A woman, so we have the right. They always know.
you have two. You have the basic group life, okay?
And this is the basic.
Right, this shows the 100,000, but you have an age reduction, 50%
All right.
starting at age 70.
Yes.
Anybody age 70 and above, you're at, instead of
And then-
100, you're at 50.
We have to have that in the podium because we need to keep a record on this.
Well, let me go with her so she show me. It's okay.
So you have the initial basic life insurance that covers everybody. This includes 65 total employees, including the commissioners, mayor, and appointed,
attorney.
elected, an attorney.
Michelle,
And-
what is that title on the top of that paper?
Group life and accidental death and dismemberment
Perfect.
From who?
from Unum
You know,
for the city. That includes all 65 people. It has the commissioners and all executive level at 100,000. The age reduction is 50% of your benefit starting at age 70. So age 70 and beyond, instead of 100,000, the net benefit is 50,000. In addition, there is a supplemental, it's called voluntary or lifestyle life and accidental death and dismemberment. Those benefits are available in increments of $10,000 a month, up to $100,000 a month without any evidence of insurability. It also contains the same reduction based on age, 50%, starting at age 70.
yes, but I want to see the number, 50,000 to complete the 100,000.
So employer life non-medical maximum is $100,000, so without any questions, it's 100,000, and 50% of that is the 50,000.
Oh, that's right.
That's where it is.
That's what I
The
want.
100,000 right
The
there.
100 less 50, so this will 50 and 50 here.
Yes, and that's, I just wrote out what the rates were for those three individuals that were affected.
Yeah, but here was not that.
Right. That's my summary that I prepared. That's not prepared by the company. This is the company proposal.
What is your total yearly damage for those two policies? That was at 20,
27,000.
Commissioner, I think your
528.
microphone is
sorry.
off.
That was at $27,528.
Correct. That's for both plans together.
Mr. Mayor, may
Yes.
I, for the purpose of clarification, my own clarification at this point? This is one policy with one company,
Two policies with one company.
two policies. This would be a supplemental policy for anyone who reaches 70+ would have an opportunity.
May I correct you?
Yes,
The
please.
supplemental policy is for every employee, ages 18 to
77,
to 100, that wanted to apply for a supplemental policy, no medical questions, medical insurance required, up to $100,000 of benefits. You choose an amount, $10,000 increments. Assuming that the city wanted to provide the coverage level at 100,000, it is my recommendation that to accomplish that, one way is for the city to pick up the cost for those 3 individuals to keep them at the $100,000 benefit, and that's how I came up with the $27,000, is to keep them whole. Everybody else could pay for it on their own, and in fact, we would need to offer it to everybody, and we would have to have at least another 7 people participate in the plan for this to be viable.
So you cannot do it unless 7 individuals participate in the program.
Correct.
Does that mean the city has to
7
pay for that?
additional. The city does not have to pay for that. The city doesn't have to pay for any of this.
Does the individual must the individual accept the increase, the supplemental coverage, if you want to call it that? Or by compliance will be attained by simply offering it to them?
In order to offer the supplemental plan on the guaranteed basis of the $100,000, 10 people would have to elect to take a supplemental policy in increments of $10,000, which is
What happens if we?
So that means
get
7
something-
people are going to have to pay for that.
Gonna
Out of
have
their own
to-
pocket.
Okay, but the prices, actually, you have them there. The prices for the supplemental, for those, they are age banded, and they're very cost effective for people in their 20s and 30s. You're talking about premiums of $1 to $3 a month for a small amount. So I would request that I could have a meeting where I could explain to the people what their options are and share with them what the costs are, and I typically get 50% of the people participating because at the younger ages, it's very cost effective, and there's no medical questions asked. It's regardless of your health.
Do we have medicals for people over 70 years old?
No, there's no medical required. So it's cost effective, there's no medical questions. Anybody who has a health issue, it's a great opportunity for them to secure their own additional benefits.
But the problem I see here, be it $1, $2, $200, we would vote on something today that
We have no assurance that
we
we have
don't know if the
participation.
employee, granted, it's only $1 or $2, let's take the money out of it.
Right.
We're going to vote on something, we're going to say, yes, the employees are going to do that. We can't say that. I can't make up my mind today for an employee, regardless of the amount of money.
I can appreciate that. It's just, it's another option. I think it's a viable option for cost containment, because your third option, to make sure that there is no reduction and have the city pick up the cost, you're looking at $48,000.
In reverse, I can see, had you met with employees and they were
Right.
presented this and then they agreed, then we'd have that information now to make a vote. But the other way around,
I agree, I agree
I'd
with
be
you.
putting words in an employee's mouth. I can't do that.
Permissions to meet with employees, so
Yes,
is
I
it
know,
the
we-
egg or
Para ofrecer
the
en
chicken
un
first?
aggregate.
I could meet with employees tomorrow and offer this. It's as quickly as you
One
want it.
question.
Pero ese es el
How much,
proposal that comes with that.
standard, a 40 years old person,
Actually,
how much
go
goes
back-
10,000?
I think you have.
Go ahead, she's going to get it.
What do you need, this?
A 40-year-old person?
40 years old,
Enroll
40 years old, $10,000.
Mr. Attorney and Madam Manager.
I'm sorry.
Please.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so.
Let me come again, because I do not understand it, okay?
You do not understand what?
I don't understand what this is the new 10 other employees is new now, right?
No, I had mentioned that it has a participation requirement, is what it's officially
In
termed.
other words.
10 lives in
order for
total
you-
must participate in the supplemental plan.
In order for you to afford Commissioner Suarez's $100,000.
Yes.
10 other employees.
No, 10 in
must-
total.
I'm sorry?
7 additional, 10 in total.
Okay. In other words, 7 other people.
Correct.
Would have to participate
Yes.
and enroll to what? To $100,000?
No.
No.
I asking her,
Yeah, but please, one at a time.
One at a time, please. Okay.
The minimum benefit is $10,000, and the question was asked, for example, a 40-year-old would be $2.59 per month for a $10,000
Okay,
benefit.
assuming that you don't get the 7, what happens to the policy then?
The supplemental, it's possible that the insurance company could say that they wouldn't offer the supplemental.
Well, the answer is that, as Commissioner,
Have to be 10 persons.
I'm sorry?
Have to be 10 persons.
Well, then the answer is, you don't
Seven more.
have $100,000.
7 more.
I-
And I ask her how much cost.
$2.59.
40 years old,
I am confident
$10,000.
that if I was allowed to have a meeting and
And she
present
said
this to the
$2
employees, that I could,
One
you know, show
at a
the
time,
value of
please.
spending
What I'm trying to,
$2.59.
what I'm trying to get is.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
And everybody here, can we wait for somebody to finish talking or asking questions, you know, and the other one's playing? So let's not interrupt, please, please.
But my
Ask the
question,
question and listen to the answer, and then, once you have the answer, then you can ask another question.
okay, my question is this. We need 7 more people in order to get that possibility.
That's correct.
Now, 40 years old, 45 years old person, $10,000, $5,000. How
10,000,
much? Make it 5,000,
the minimum is
the
10,000.
minimum. Now, 45,
$2.59 per month
How
is the
much?
cost. $2.59 per month.
that's 40 years old, 10,000.
That is correct.
45, 5,000.
$10,000 is the minimum. At age 45, that cost is $4 per month.
Oh, that's a minimum 10,000.
Minimum is 10,000
How much? $4 per month
for a 45-year-old. Yes, sir.
for 45 years old.
Yes, sir.
45 to
45 to 49.
45 to 49, and the other 40 to 45 or 40 to
40 to 44,
40 to 44 is $2.50.
59 cents.
So it's 7 persons, so it could be about $16 per month
Correct.
in order to enroll 6 persons. So
this
maybe
is something-
$16, $20.
Okay, let me, if I may throw out another option.
No, wait, let me finish. I don't finish my question. What I'm trying to do, your name is?
Michelle,
Michelle, what I'm trying to do is, if the 7 persons that we need to make the 10 for the getting enrolled in that is the minimum that we could pay for that 7 persons
Yes.
and accommodate 7 other persons
Yes.
for the minimum price, so it's not be a burden. So we make it 10 persons, and then administration decide who could be in that way, in that group. That's what I'm
that
trying to
is
do.
correct. You could choose
$20
to
per
pay
month or something,
for
accommodate
a
that.
class of employees and pick up the cost for this additional voluntary and the minimum $10,000, and you could do that cost effectively, depending on their ages. Yes.
If I may, the problem here being, Mr. Suarez, if I may,
Wait, hold on a second, one at a time. What was the, Commissioner, Madam Manager, what was it that?
It would be our recommendation. I'm going to be very frank with you. Those that are insured under the $20,000 category don't have the extra $5 per paycheck. Some of them are over 45. We have people that make $8.50 an hour here still, so I would venture to say that the only other groups that we may be able to pick up may come from the police department or even department directors, but again, that is a voluntary basis unless the commission decides to pay for 7 enrollments as part of this proposal for those individuals that you select to have additional coverage.
if I may, Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I will not sit here today and pick 7 individuals. That is not our right,
right.
to pick additional insurance for a select 7 people. How do we?
As a
matter of
cannot
fact,
make that
that's illegal.
determination?
Furthermore, I know we asked questions, as you can see, we can participate here, but I want to remind everybody that we legislate, okay? We need to hear from the attorney, we need to hear from the manager, and, you know, so I know that it is commendable that some of you have the comprehensive ability, and especially you, Commissioner Suarez, and to ask the questions. I'm a lemon when it comes to this with insurance, so I'm going to relay to and fall back to the city manager and the city attorney every time, you know, even if it's presented to me. So, I'm a little, yes, hold on, on one hand, you know, supposedly this was an emergency meeting, and we were gonna make a decision today, but I can tell you right now that I'm very confused, okay? Because I don't have a clear, I'm not the type of person that I'm gonna let, I'm sorry, one of my colleagues convinced me here. It's gonna be presented to me, it's gonna be studied by the attorney, it's gonna be studied by the city manager, and it's gonna come here as a presentation, but I need to have some confidence level that this has been studied, and I hate to say this because I know you have worked very hard, all of you, and I know some of you are new to the picture, and you also want to put an effort to help out over here. And as I mentioned before, I don't want to be in Mr. Carper's shoes. So, Mr. Attorney, go ahead.
It would not be legal for you to select and to have a class pick and choose from the commission, so Commissioner Rodriguez is correct.
Okay. Yes, I know Commissioner Rodriguez, correct. Thank you. Madam Manager, I'm sorry that it's going to fall back on you, but I need some advice here on how do we proceed, because I feel like we're back in square one. I mean, on one hand, we have the pressure that we need to make a decision. We have to act supposedly before the end of the year, and I take that very seriously. But right now, I don't feel like, I mean,
Can I make a
until-
proposal, Mr. Mayor?
hold on a second, let me listen to the manager, and then I'll get back to you,
I have a
Michelle.
question, if I may.
Yes, and you'll be third. Madam Manager.
My granddaughter's picking up the slack for me. Okay. Mr. Mayor, it's very difficult. You're dealing here with life insurance. You're dealing here with a level of benefits that has been in effect for many years. But we also have a fiscal responsibility to our city coffers. I wouldn't want to be in anybody's shoes, and I'm not there yet, but eventually I will be. I don't think it's fair, to be honest with you, to give the commissioners any less of a benefit that they have been entitled to all along. I have to tell you for the record that any deviation to the level, to the Mutual of Omaha or the FMIT policy, okay, that's brought by these two very fine companies and very fine representatives, because I'm torn here. Any deviation from any of these two proposals will have a fiscal impact to the budget. And it may trigger a budget amendment process, and that's another costly proposition because of legal ads and whatnot. So I think there's a hurdle that we need to cross, or maybe that one defines the benefit a little bit better than the other one. The standard policy through the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust has the issue of the position of city attorney, which is underinsured based on what their proposal, what they're dealing with right now at a lower level. And I don't have confirmation today that they can increase that level of coverage to $100,000. And I don't think you can either from your face, Aaron.
Madam Manager, I cannot.
Okay. Now we have a Mutual of Omaha policy that is available to the city and incorporates the classes, including the position of city attorney. But it also has an age reduction factor. I would say this one is a more complete proposal, even taking into account that there's an age reduction. But there's a feature in it that would allow, under our first option, which was what I had yesterday when this matrix was prepared, if the decision were to be made today, I would submit to you that we purchase additional coverage for these individuals that are affected by the age reduction in that class 4, okay? That we purchase an individual policy for a time, for a period of time. This is not an indefinite situation, and I don't think the city should make this an indefinite situation, even if it affects me someday, okay? because it's obviously not within our budgetary limits. But it gives us an opportunity to purchase a permanent coverage that also has portability and conversion options in it through the AARP, which is a very well-established and recognized insurance programs for people that meet the retirement age and that are members of the AARP. And that we pay, and it's a steep premium, and I'm putting my neck on the line here, and that we pay the additional policy for these individuals. However, it will not take them to $100,000. That being said, the only option that you could do today is grant a preliminary, an approval to this third option that has been presented from Unum, okay, pending and giving us a window of time of 1 week to try to get 7 people additionally to the 3 individuals that would be covered. Try to get 7 people to buy into this plan. Otherwise, you're going to be right back where you started today. We do have an emergency situation. Aaron has reported it to you that as of January 1st, 2015, we're not going to be covered, and I'm sure that the intent of the league is to cover us until the time is resolved. But basically, Aaron is telling us today here, and Clay sitting here today, telling us the league is going to assume a responsibility should we have a death on our hands, because we don't have a joint participation agreement executed in place. And even if we did, I believe that our window of time is running out on January 1st.
Okay, may I ask a question to Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Aaron, my understanding was that January 1st was not chiseled in stone, that if we could not reach an agreement by January 1st, that you would still extend the coverage of the gap insurance. Is that correct?
Excuse me. If I may, one more time, Mr. Attorney, the League of Cities will do whatever we can to assist the city of West Miami. If this decision does take longer than January 1st, I will put into writing the League of Cities will do everything that we can to continue this standard insurance coverage until set forth you find a new policy.
Well,
And
let's
that
go ahead and.
we can cancel that
Let's
out.
go ahead and
So
forget
that-
January 1st then, okay? If you put that in writing, Commissioner Rodriguez would be,
However, if I may even also, Mr. Attorney, that would give the Mutual in Omaha and AARP time, if they wanted to meet perhaps with the police department or other members of the city, to ask to see if there was any interest in getting those extra 7 people on. If we could do that, it may be a good alternative. Again, remember, at the end of the day, I'm here to try to help the city. I want everybody to have the best coverage that they can. The only thing that I would need in order to guarantee that would be an executed participation agreement between the City of West Miami and the Standard, retroactive actually to September 30th, and I'll put in writing, I have no problem putting in writing that'll give the City of West Miami time to have, other representatives in the community present their proposals if need be, and I'll cancel the policy off and cancel it right out when you can assume other
good.
coverage.
That was, thank you very much, and that would be
And
a
return,
very
and
good.
return any premium
That would
accordingly.
be a very good thing, and that would be my first question. The number 2 question is this: would you be willing to explore the possibility of eliminating the age reduction like Unity of Omaha had done?
Unfortunately, that is not an option under my policy.
Okay.
And per some of I believe the main email that I had communicated
So-
with Madam
so,
Manager,
for
I am not
instance-
able to do that.
Again, Commissioner Suarez will be insured not for 100,000, but for 30,000.
Whatever, based on.
The
age.
Based on the age,
Oh, okay,
yes.
right. Well, we'll just go ahead. My suggestion would be then,
I have
Oh,
a
okay.
question from Commissioner Blank.
We have an emergency. I suggest, or I make a motion to take now Mutual of Omaha, and the other part, you can come back and see if we get the other 7 persons. But right now, we should go with Mutual of Omaha now.
With the age reduction.
With the age reduction, now, yes. If we can get the stack policy later on.
I don't know that we can.
Yes, we can, yes.
You can?
Of
You
course,
can
we
add
buy
the
this
secondary
anytime.
voluntary at any time.
Anytime.
At any
Because
time.
I'm not
Although
worried about
the
insurance.
company that offered the stronger supplemental at the 100,000 dropped to the 50
Yes,
was
you can buy
Unum.
anytime.
But they're two separate plans.
I used to be an underwriter also.
Commissioner Suarez.
Company who's offering that is not Omaha, it's Unum.
We know that. But this is,
You making a motion?
we have an emergency.
No, but the name of the company, the name
Right,
of
the
the
name of the
company
company.
is Uno, it's not Omaha.
Yeah. I would suggest that we went with the Unum plan because they were offering a higher level of guarantee issue on the supplemental than Mutual of Omaha was. I had a similar program with Mutual of Omaha, but it would have only afforded the commissioners an additional 30,000 of benefit versus 50,000. So
And I would suggest to add that if you do go that route,
Yes.
that they have a time limitation in which they can get the 7 other
Seven
employees.
participants.
Should we get it
If
by
they
this week?
cannot get the 7 other employees, then you have an opportunity for them to offer us something,
Okay,
okay?
I make that motion.
Thank you.
So the
And
motion
in
is
the, in the
amended for
meantime,
Unum.
No es mutual.
the,
Go ahead.
in the meantime, the municipal, the legal cities can perhaps explore the possibility whether or not there might be another option, whether there will be
I just make a
no age
motion.
limitation.
Not if you give it to Unum.
I have a motion on the table. I have a motion, call the question.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to clarify the rate. I'm still not sure about that. Can I clarify the rate before we
Yes.
continue? Madam Manager, if you can, I have written down here 27,528 total for the Unum, both policies together.
Both
How does that
policies.
compare to what we're paying right now?
We're paying approximately 14,000, give or take. It all depends on your roster, actually, people who get off and on the insurance, but we're averaging about $14,000 a year on the life component.
So this is a substantial increase.
That is correct. That's why I reported the fiscal impact.
So why don't we get Joseph?
The basic plan would be approximately
Mutual of Omaha,
14,000 a
which-
year.
The basic without the
The
additional.
basic with the age reduction without the additional would be approximately 14,000 a year. It's $1,263 a month.
That's what Mutual of
Actually,
Omaha.
I'm sorry.
Or Unum, she's.
Yeah, with a 3-year rate guarantee, it's $1,263 per month. With a 2-year rate guarantee, it's $1,170 per month.
I have
Okay.
a question for Commissioner Rodriguez. Commissioner Rodriguez, if according what the attorney said, if the Florida League, they put in writing, they will be covered until January 1st, January
No, there's
15th.
no limit, Mr.
There's no limit, yeah? Are you going to put in writing, giving extension and covering?
I would, Commissioner Suarez, I would be
This is-
happy,
because this is
I
a
would be
que-
happy to,
This is the question that Commissioner Rodriguez did, that she wants to, no, don't go away from the microphone. Commissioner Rodriguez was aware that she said, I don't see in writing, and me too, we cannot buy that. Now, my question, I think, Commissioner, if you put in writing that this gap will be extended until the three companies bring a proposal, and we will be covered, including the attorney. That's what you said 10 minutes ago, right?
may I, Commissioner?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Everything is correct. I would be more than happy to put, again, in writing, the fact that I would put a participation agreement out from the Standard to the City of West Miami that would retroact coverage back through the beginning of October 1st through a time period that is convenient with the City of West Miami to secure their own coverage. The city attorney, at this point, I still can only go over by the guidelines that are set forth by me from the underwriting department. And their clear and concise instructions to me were to carry over any sort of amount from where the billing was at the end of the last
September.
policy year. I am not able to do anything more, unfortunately, for the 20,000 that was in effect prior to this gap in coverage. So I can do everything you said. I can't unfortunately do the city attorney for 100,000 coverage. I can only do unfortunately 20, but I can put something in there I have no problem wording the language to set it up so I can cancel it at any time, assuming, we can secure coverage anywhere else. And, I just, again, need that signed document accordingly. And, I think, Mr. Austin even mentioned, we'll refund the premium as well. We want,
No, go ahead,
Mr. Mayor.
finish, I have a question.
I'm all set.
Okay, because
Finish.
we keep talking about the city attorney. Are we talking about city attorney, or are we talking about the age reduction?
I'm
Are the commissioners sitting right here, right now, are they covered for 100,000?
The answer
Yes.
is no, sir.
Okay,
The answer is no.
okay, so
Mr. Aaron,
wait.
Mr. Aaron, let me, just a precise question. If one of the commissioners that is sitting on the table today die and they're over 70, they're not covered by $100,000, is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Attorney. Under the standard policy, the policy would be reduced to 60% of the original amount, or
Okay, so you're not
$60,000.
covered by $100,000.
okay, that's why I like for things to be clear, okay. So that's what we have in place right now. The only thing that you can propose right now is the extension of time, and then put that in writing.
If that would be in the best interest,
Okay,
I
so
would be happy to
everybody
do that.
understand it? Commissioner Blanca, you understand what?
I understand, I don't agree, but I understand.
No, I just want, I don't want, listen.
I
I'm
think
the-
this was an emergency meeting and we should do it today.
I know, but because if it's
We're
an,
wasting our time here.
I know, because,
And I'm sorry.
listen, no, I understand, Commissioner, but here, I'm the first one that I'm guilty, because I lost my cool. I'm the first one that I'm guilty, I lost my cool earlier, and I apologize for that, and whoever I lost the cool with. But that doesn't give me the excuse to make a decision, make the wrong decision. I don't want to make the wrong decision. So, now, we also have to be responsible about money, okay? So, and I hate to go back to the manager, but she's always been a very level-headed person for many, many years, beyond anybody sitting in this commission. And that's why I keep relying back, and I'm sorry to put you in the hot seat.
It's fine.
But, we need to balance, yes, it is an emergency, we need to balance the coverage, I totally agree. The commissioners sitting on this table over 70 should be covered, 100,000, including the attorney. And we're not talking about just the attorney, we're talking about an age group, okay, that's what we're talking about, okay? So I'm torn with that. By the same token, if we contemplate any other policy, it's gonna be an increase. Any other company is gonna be an increase. Now, what are the numbers that we're playing with before we go to a budget amendment? What are we talking about? What's
We
the
need to
flexi-
find savings in the budget that would offset the additional expense triggered by the decision to go with a higher premium. So we need to find, at a minimum, $15,000 if you go with that Unum policy that insures everyone in the various classes, to include the $50,000, but apart from it becoming a budgetary issue, we've got to get 7 folks, in addition to the 3 positions that the city will pick up the tab for. We need to get 7 people to buy into purchasing coverage. Okay, so we not only have to look for the money, the savings in other categories of the budget, we have to look for 7 people to buy into it.
And if we
Because the
don't-
city cannot,
And if we don't
obviously,
find the 7 people, it will revert back.
it's-
Can you clarify that? If we don't find the
If you
7
don't
people,
find-
it will revert back to?
No, we can still stay with that union policy and offer the AARP plan.
right, right. The AARP plan is a stacking insurance, but it's not gonna be up to the level of $50,000, because again, it's gonna be a cost factor. You're talking about anywhere from $200 a month for a person who's 70, between 70 and 73, and somebody who's 74 or over, you're talking almost $500 a month. So you're going to be talking, again, we go back to the $15,000, $20,000 cost overrun in the insurance program. And if we cannot find the savings anywhere, we're going to have to go back to the employees and increase rates. That's pretty much the bottom line. They're at the paycheck contribution. So, and I don't think that would be fair, to be honest with you. So, we either have to come up with saving $15,000 to $17,000 somewhere to offset these costs now, and find 7 more participants, and I cannot sit here today and give you a guarantee that people will buy the additional policy. Not everybody here is between the age of 40 and 45 anymore. We have an aging group, and that has been an issue with the FMIT, and both of the gentlemen representing the FMIT are nodding their heads.
I'm willing to give up. We are here
It's
for-
something that the commission needs to decide. I
Well,
can't, yeah.
for me, it's fine. You don't have to do anything. I go with the number 1 Mutual of Omaha proposal. Forget about the age. I'm willing to sacrifice. I don't mind.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. And that incorporates also the attorney, and that's the only difference really between the FMIT policy and the Mutual of Omaha, is the issue of the position and the insurability amount. That really is the only issue that sets them apart from each other, because Standard is a AAA company as well as Mutual of Omaha.
I'm sorry, what sets them apart? Could you repeat that?
I'm sorry?
Could you repeat what sets those two apart again? What
The
did you just
the
say?
insurability amount for the Office of the City Attorney.
No, the insurability amount, insurability means that you're physically able.
I'm sorry,
to
the level
raise-
of coverage should be,
It's not only for the city attorney, it's the fact that according to what I have been told and have been repeated time and again, that if one of the commissioners over 70 dies, you're not going to get $100,000.
that's correct.
The
That's
other
what we're talking
two
about.
commissioners are going to get $100,000, but either one is going to take either $30,000 or $40,000. It's not $100,000. You're not covered by $100,000, period.
And that is what the commissioner is suggesting, that she, if I understand this
Yes, I
correctly,
understand correctly.
she said she would be willing to sacrifice and take the age reduction policy.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm explaining that sets Standard different than Mutual of Omaha is the issue of the coverage for the city attorney. It takes them to a level of coverage which is $20,000 only, like a regular employee of the city. Again, we go back to our, responsibility to the city attorney and what he was under the impression that he was covered for.
You're speaking to the standard policy now.
The standard policy only offers the city attorney, whoever that may be, a $20,000 coverage.
The Mutual of Omaha has the city attorney and the elected officials together.
Correct,
That-
in a
they have no
separate
classes.
class.
In the Mutual of Omaha,
They're in a class 4.
okay, perfect. And if you would, the rate for the standard and the Mutual of Omaha, as we see it here, is very comparable.
Yes, ma'am. They're off by maybe $40 or $50 a month.
And this is within our budget.
Yes.
These rates that are
Yes.
proposed here is within our
Yes.
budget.
Those have been incorporated in the budget.
I clarify something to the Commissioner Rodriguez.
Sure.
Omaha reducts after 70 to 40%. The league reducts to 60%.
Correct.
So will
But
be
there's a
more cover,
difference-
after
there's- but
70,
there's a
you will be, have
difference.
more cover with the league than with Omaha.
It's right here. I got it.
Correct.
It's right here in front of me, black and white. But the difference here is what the city manager just alluded to was the
City
amount of-
attorney
City
coverage.
attorney, the coverage. That's the only difference.
The only difference. Actually, the league standard offers a higher benefit under the age reduction than the Mutual of Omaha
Yes.
policy.
Don't look at me.
This is a tough position
I'm
to
throwing
be
up
in
my
because you
hands
guys
too.
are
I'm throwing up my
commissioners
hands too.
and you have to look at taxpayers' dollars and what's the most efficient way.
I have a suggestion, if I may, Mr. Mayor, and I know
No,
that
I'm-
a lot of people may not like this, but I gotta bring it up. Is there a possibility that the commission may wish to consider lowering the benefits? And I'm shooting myself in the leg here. For everybody, so that we can buy a $50,000 coverage for everybody and lower the insurance benefits on our life. I mean,
which
either we
category?
all sacrifice
For which category?
for class 1 and class 4. I mean, do I want to have less life insurance policy? No, but we have to do what is best for the city. This is not about me, and I'm sure this is not about Mr. Villalobos or anybody individual. I mean, this is for the city.
Thank you.
So if we lower the coverage for class 1 and class 4.
And we're gonna see reduced premiums, and then maybe we can buy another supplemental policy to take the commissioners to that reduced benefit amount, if that is available.
Meaning that other policy that Michelle was referring to.
Either Michelle
Or whoever.
or the league.
Whoever, that
Right.
The legal
secondary
cities-
policy.
Right.
The legal cities made it very clear, guys, I mean, don't dance around it. They made it very clear. You have a policy which is not 50,000 or 100,000. It's diminished by 30% or 40% pursuant to your age. So don't dance around it. That's what they say. Is that correct, sir?
Right, and,
So they're not the same.
but I understand it's
No.
not the same, Mr.
Even-
Villalobos, but I'm
even-
saying,
Let me finish, please. Even if the generous offer by the city manager is accepted, that is not going to vary at this point, the legal city's position that they would reduce whatever insurance there is by 30% or 40%. So in other words, if you are insured by $100,000, the most that one of you sitting in the dais will get is $30,000. If you get $50,000, the most any one of you is going to get is $15,000. 15, that's it. Because the legal cities have made it very clear that they will reduce it 30% if you're over a certain age. That's what they said. And is that correct, sir?
Right, but I'm a little, yeah, but.
60% and then 40%. 60 and 40,
60 and 40 of the original.
right.
So if you get a $50,000 and if you're over age 75, you're going to get $15,000. That's it. You're not insured by 50. You're insured by 15.
20,000.
But I am understanding there is a benefit reduction on both policies. An age benefit reduction.
Correct.
And if Michelle, someone said that's standard across the industry.
Well,
And
No,
actually, Unum, the third option was with Unum, and their reduction is 50%, which would provide a higher benefit. That is the-
$50,000.
50% based on your age. Starting at age 70, there was a reduction of 50%. Now, of course, there was also the option of no reduction, but at a higher cost.
Oh, so that's better than Mutual of Omaha then?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, it is a better option. I only just got this option.
Right,
so
and
that's why
that's-
it was
didn't
not
have
the
that
option.
That puts you quite comparable to
Yes.
standard.
Correct.
There's only
There's only one.
Two reductions?
One reduction.
one, that's
Age
it.
70, 50%, that's it.
so the city attorney is going to be insured at $6,000.
Okay.
No.
To me, listen,
No.
can I have okay, all right. The facts are the facts, we can go back and forth, we can negotiate, we can pressure somebody, and then they come back with something else, and that's basically what's happening today, okay? So here's what I propose. Whether we like it or not, we have a certain coverage right now. In order to get a greater coverage, we have to pay more. Am I correct so far?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So, we are not in the position to pay more without a substantial more, without an amendment.
Without either creating a budget amendment process or finding anywhere from $15,000 to $17,000 in your budget where you freeze expenses in some categories to offset the increases caused by the increase in price for these premiums.
Okay.
That's one idea. The next idea would be for the level of benefits in one of the classes, in class 1 and class 4 under Ms. Freelander's proposal, and under the standard policy offered by the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust, is bring the level of benefits for certain individuals, senior management, to $50,000. Bring those levels of coverage down. That should reduce the premium. Am I correct or not?
It should reduce, it's possible that it will reduce the cost per thousand. It certainly will reduce the overall premium because the covered benefit will be reduced. However, city attorney was correct in that at the present time, there's still the age reduction. So if you take it from 100 to 50, somebody were to pass away beyond age 70, for example, in the Unum plan, their family would only receive $25,000.
But then we could look at
The supplement.
the supplement policy for those individuals that are 70 plus, for those 3 positions that
Yes.
are presently affected.
Right.
We could buy a permanent policy through the AARP for another $25,000 to make it the 50,000 and make those 3 individuals whole.
Right.
I mean,
So we're
that's-
talking about how much more? 20,
if we bring the level of coverage for senior management class, and that would involve 5, 6, around 10 or 11 individuals, we bring the level of coverage to $50,000 down, it should reduce the policy substantially. And then we would purchase
Right.
the Unum
Unum or the AARP.
or the
Either- either
AARP
one.
supplement for only 3 individuals in the commission and the city attorney,
Which would be half this cost,
which
which would
would
be about
make them whole to the tune of
$6,000.
$50,000. Right?
correct. And that should keep it close to what you're
And
paying.
then we'll keep it very close to what we're paying. If, then we're
Well-
talking about,
I'm gonna play devil's advocate now. The same way that you said you couldn't volunteer 7 people to pay more, I can tell you, you should not volunteer, besides yourself, other people to reduce costs. So, to reduce coverage.
Mayor,
Maybe I'm misunderstanding something.
you are
And I'll
correct.
take myself out of the picture.
Okay, that being said, the commission has the final say, and you can create a class for yourselves. But my office can tweak the level of coverage for employees at all levels, with the exception of the city attorney and the city clerk, who work under the direct jurisdiction of the city commission. We can. A matter of fact, we can do away with life coverage in its entirety for the employees if the will of the commission is there to do so. And obviously, you know that I bring everything to you, and I wouldn't want that done. But we have to find
You don't
a
have my vote.
solution. I know, sir. And I would hate to be Cruella, but the fact is we have a budget, and we are obligated to live by those rules.
This
Let
last
me
option,
reign
you
over the
just-
parade. May I reign in the parade, please?
Yeah, go ahead and rein the plane. Might as well,
Okay, the
everybody
reign of
else
the parade
has.
is that there are people that are vested, that you cannot take it away, now they're vested.
You're absolutely correct.
So, the fact that you're going to administratively do one or the other, you cannot do that.
That is,
As a matter of fact,
point very
I
well
still have
taken.
issues, legal issues, with the fact that the insurance company have the ability to segregate due to age, and I will follow that through. I mean, believe me, I'm not, even though I get 0, I'm going to follow it through. Even though I get 100,000, I'm going to follow it through.
Okay.
Because I think that's not right.
May I interrupt you for a second, Mr. Attorney? Let me go back to something, because maybe I lost something in the translation, and I'm sorry. You talked about something about paying an additional $44 or something, no, hold on a second. First, you talked about an additional $4,000 a month times 12 for 80, so that was an additional 48,000. But then when you talked about supplemental, I remember the number being very low. Can we go back to that again? So in other words, we can bring the three persons in question, the legal, the age factor here. We can bring them to 100,000, and then there was a cost for that.
$13,200.
13,000?
No,
No, hold on a second. I want to hear from Michelle.
$1,044 a month.
How much?
So that's $12,500.
$12,500 a year
Yes,
for the three people.
yes,
Okay, so that will be the
$12,528.
that will be the additional cost.
yes.
Okay, but with that in place, you need, in other words, and that will open for other people to buy additional coverage, and you say you need a minimum of 3 or 7 more, correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so that was the caveat, 7 more.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not talking about 20-something thousand, we're talking about 12,500. So-
Additional.
Additional.
That's
Additional.
additional, in addition to the cost similar to what you're currently paying now, and that was.
If you add those $12,528 dollars, that will total $27,528, which is give or
Right.
take what?
Right, but the number that we had before, we had to play with the league as
Right.
well, right?
Yes,
Right.
we
Okay,
paid
so-
about 14,000 and change a year, give or take.
Right, but I would not contemplate that number, because that number we have to pay anyway, one way or the other. So the increase is 12,500.
That is
not,
Correct.
Yes.
okay, am I
But that's.
crazy here, huh?
No, you're on the
Okay.
money, but the problem is getting 7 folks to buy into it.
Okay, all right. And that's why you need time to do the presentation and so on.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Blanca, well, let me ask the manager first. How will 12,500 will put us in budget-wise?
We have to find the savings, or it's gonna trigger a budget amendment. We can find areas that we can freeze in the budget. On expenses, we have to find them, and we're pretty creative. I'm sure we can come up with it. Something's gonna give, something's gonna suffer, no question about it. Maybe we would have to go without filling a position that we have a vacancy for right now in the Public Works for another year, until the next budget cycle, and hopefully things will be better.
Does that position has a title or name?
It doesn't have a name, it's vacant.
Well, does it have a title, and is it a necessary position, Mr. Penna? I know everything is a necessary position.
Everything is essential and necessary.
I'm trying to be creative here, and, how many fingers do you have? Huh? Add another 5 to it. Add another 5 to it, okay.
It's necessary, absolutely necessary, but something's gotta give. And so without sacrificing the level of coverage that we have for others, and I'm glad you support our benefits, then we would have to find the savings and freeze that position until the next budget cycle. That's the only thing that comes to mind that I believe we can do.
Commissioner Blanca, since you put the motion on the table to begin with, will you contemplate a friendly amendment to go with, this is Union?
Unum.
Unum.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I have a motion on the table. Commissioner Rodriguez, Commissioner Suarez, do you understand the motion?
You asking me?
Yes.
I cannot vote for something that's unfair. I think we have an emergency, but this is not 24 hours emergency. It's an emergency, but we have
What
these
do
2
you-
weeks.
what do you-
I don't vote, I abstain. I don't vote.
What's unfair? Okay, all right.
Commissioner-
Okay, I understand. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Legally, you cannot do that, Commissioner Suarez.
Okay,
That can be an excuse for the table.
Commissioner Rodriguez, do you understand the motion?
I do, Mr. Mayor,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm looking at here, the Mutual of Omaha, there's no increase. It's exactly what we're paying now, more or less. Coverage is $100,000. It's got the age reduction that all policies have. So I'm not 100% convinced why we need to spend the extra money for that option. I can't wrap my hands around the benefit of losing a position, possibly, to cover that. I don't see the benefit in that. In black and white in front of me. And I'm going by black and white. I'm taking all emotion, all peoples out of it. I'm going by black and white. So I cannot wrap my hands around looking for money in the budget, possibly losing a position. What benefit am I getting out of that? I don't see it.
If I may, Commissioner
Well, I'll
Rodriguez?
tell you what the benefit you're getting. I know you cannot get emotional about it, but it's talking about people that had benefits before actually bringing down their benefits. So that we're trying to keep something that,
Due to age.
I thought this didn't. I thought the Mutual of Omaha did not reduce benefits to anyone. It's $100,000.
No, if I may, Madam
Yeah,
Commissioner?
please, Ms.
There is an age reduction. It should
But
be
we have
noted
that
in
now.
there.
We have that now.
Well, you have it with the plan as it transferred on, that you were just made aware of, that there was an age reduction.
But we didn't have it before.
That's
It was
what I've been advised.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just realized that. Okay.
So the Unum plan is comparable to the Mutual of Omaha and the Standard Plan. However, their reduction is to 50%, which provides those people over age 70 a higher benefit. So that's the only difference. Comparable cost.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
yes.
I cannot force anybody to do anything. But if a commissioner is present and has participated, the commissioner is obligated by Florida statute to vote. Okay? So
Okay.
whoever wants to do anything, that's their problem. My problem is to advise you what the law is, okay?
Okay.
Do a commissioner,
I have.
for the attorney.
I have a motion on the table. I call the question. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay?
I have a question for the attorney. Can I be excused for the table, Mr. Attorney? I have the right to be excused.
Mr. Commissioner, if you participate.
We're in the middle of voting.
Okay.
I have the right to be excused.
Okay. Can you call the vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Rodriguez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca, how do
Yes.
you vote? Mayor Molina,
Yes,
the yes have it. The item passes.
thank you. Okay?
Is this?
Is to go to, with Unum, with the basic plan. Correct me if I'm wrong, if that was your motion, Commissioner Blanca.
My understanding, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is the
Yes,
rate is the
that's-
same
okay.
as what we're
To
paying
go
now.
with
more or less.
Unum is the name? Yes, the basic plan.
With the understanding that if we get an additional 7 individuals to buy into the plan,
We'll
we
go.
can buy a supplemental
Exactly.
policy.
Exactly.
Completely optional. That is
Completely
optional.
optional.
They're two separate plans.
Okay.
All
Duly
right.
noted.
Anything else?
May I, Mr. Attorney, legally, with the commissioner excusing himself, are we on solid ground here? I mean, I don't
Well,
want to
the
come back and
commissioner- the
hear that we
commissioner
couldn't
does
do
what it-
this in a month.
I'm sorry?
I mean, I don't want it to come back that what we just did.
No,
never
the
really
commissioner,
voted.
the commissioner can do whatever he wants. I told
We're
him what the
okay.
law
All right,
is.
Excluding
My
this side of the table.
understanding,
Are we okay what we just did?
it's okay what you said. My understanding is that the League of Cities will execute an agreement with us that it will be in effect until such time, without limitation of January 1st, until such time as we get a final insurance.
Do we need to read that into the record as a friendly amendment to that motion? That
That's a question to the attorney.
Yes, you
Yes.
should read that.
a friendly amendment that the League of Cities will be issuing in writing that we are covered until said date, January 1st.
If I may, Madam?
Yes?
Yes, go ahead.
That is fine. However, I would need an executed participation agreement from the manager or the manager's office in order to do so.
Is that
Mr.
possible?
Attorney?
That it's in the hands of our city attorney for legal review. I'm pending his okay for legal sufficiency before I sign it and send it over to Aaron.
Let me put something in the record. I don't sanction whatever it says in the document. I just sanction the legal sufficiency.
Oh,
Whether I like it or not, all I say is it is legally sufficient. If the answer is yes and the commission approves it, the answer is I approve it for legal sufficiency only, okay?
Thank you. And one more question to Michelle. And the policy will be effective,
Right now, it's set to be effective January 1st. If you wanted me to secure a different date, you have to let me know, and then we have to make sure it's approved before you release any other coverage. So if you want to try backdating it to December 1st, I would just suggest waiting for approval, but I would recommend we go with January 1st,
I
actually,
don't
give
wanna-
us time for approval.
Mr. Mayor, I don't want to double bill us
Yeah,
if we're going to pay
right.
for something right now.
Well-
Why are we going to?
Yeah, I would recommend
You'll
January
pay for two
1st.
things.
I think, given that
I
it's
think so,
already
too.
December 11th, I think that would make more sense and give us time to see if we get the other 7 people as well.
okay, so the date is?
January 1st,
January
2015.
1st.
And
Okay.
League of Cities is going to cover us to January 1st?
No, wait a minute. The legal city is going to do it until such time as we get something firm,
Okay.
Firm.
So
okay? I like to forget the January 1st issue,
forget January 1st.
okay?
Okay,
Said.
all right. All clear? We're on the record? Okay. Go to the order. Anything else on go to the order? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Motion to adjourn.
Aye.
Good night, or, yes, good night already. Thank you for coming, thank you
Thank you.
for your patience and everything.